When you think of the Ducati Scrambler nameplate, the slim 800cc entry-level Ducati comes to mind. But did you know that Ducati Scrambler comes in a liter class form as well? Here it is. Welcome everyone to our little review of the Ducati Scrambler 1100 Dark Pro. Before you even turn on the engine, you immediately notice the 1100 to be different than the 800. There is a significant visual mass to this bike. The twin exhausts look like a glitch in the matrix. When you swing a leg over the bike, you realize that this bike is much wider than it seems initially. That, along with no tank recesses to lock your knees while riding, you get an initial impression that the bike won't really handle that well. And with a commuter bike like digital display that is really hard to read with tiny fonts and annoying interface, overall the bike doesn't feel special. All that goes away though when you turn on this bike. Man, it greets you with a bassy and raw exhaust note. The cold start on this bike sounds noticeably better than all of the L-twin Ducatis in their lineup currently, including something like the Ducati Monster. Since this is one of those engines that have an uneven sounding firing order, it feels superb even at low revs. It's always giving amazing sounding pops on lifting off the throttle with all that unburnt fuel. And when you whack open the throttle, the engine roars like a muscle car. What a theater this bike is. It's just intoxicating. How can a BS6 exhaust have such a loud and addictive sounding track? Ducati sound engineers, I salute you. All that exhaust sound is accompanied by a torquey, meaty power delivery. It's not scary if you are experienced enough riding fast bikes, but the mid-range is thick and the speed build-up is rapid. On the streets, you always feel like letting go of the throttle way before the bike runs out of juice, so usable power is fantastic. Granted, the motor isn't as tractable in low RPM as something like the RE650 twin would be, so comparatively to that, there is a need to change gears more frequently. That shouldn't be a problem though, cause I found changing gears one of the best experiences of this bike. First, the slipper clutch works perfectly and the clutchless downshifts with the blips are smooth. The exhaust, as always, adds so much drama to changing the gears with all sorts of burbles and pops. Despite the bike being wide and 200 plus kgs, the bike is surprisingly flickable. It's decently fast to turn in and hold the line. Side-to-side leans aren't bad either for its class, you just need to get used to it. A reason for this handling prowess is due to the good quality suspension components and rigid chassis. The braking too I found to be perfectly fine and stopped with confidence. Once you're done riding enthusiastically and reduce speeds or get stuck in traffic, that's where you notice this bike's biggest flaw. Its heat. There is no fan to kick in since this is an air-cooled setup. So even though you don't get the annoying fan sound, the heat is relentless. Using a thermometer, I measured around 160 plus degrees Celsius. Yes, 160 plus degrees. You won't just be able to cook an egg on it, but probably make an entire 7-course meal on this heat. And this heat is very close to your thighs. There are people who say that air cooling gives pure experience, And when it comes to sound, I would somewhat agree. But whatever your argument for Ducati's heating up being okay is, I feel Ducati engineers should really do something about this. Even the liquid-cooled Ducati Monster heats up similarly. For a country like India, to reach to any exciting mountain pass or highway, you have to endure city or town traffic. And that is where this Ducati becomes really painful. While we are bashing Ducati, I didn't talk about the riding modes because the LCD console is really fidgety to use, and the active mode I was in was perfectly fine for me. The headlights were pathetic. Even 110cc scooters have better light throws now. Regardless of these flaws, it's hard to deny that Ducati Scrambler 1100 Dark Pro is a special bike. The emotions it evokes in you as a motorhead cannot be measured or reasoned with. I had a privilege of living with this bike for more than a month, and I'm really grateful for this chance. Who is this bike for? If your heat tolerance is good and you don't really need a racy or a sporty bike, this is genuinely one of the most fun I have had riding a motorcycle. What a legend.